Wednesday, April 7th, 2021. I am sure you have heard the news on social media. Someone who is considered Sirius XM Urban View family, legal analyst, the one and only Midwin Charles has passed away. I'm really heartbroken. I'm very sad. And I wanted to bring somebody on here today to reflect on Midwin Charles. He is a contributor at MSNBC and the Grio. Dr. Jason Johnson. Dr. Jason Johnson, thank you for being on. I know there's a lot going on right now. I wanted to say this, that Midwin Charles, it's a massive loss for media. It is a
Yeah.
massive loss for Black media. She was just really incredible. She was a friend.
Yeah.
She was funny. She was brilliant. And I was just thinking about Midwin and seeing her on television. Her analysis was so sharp. It was so witty. It was so brilliant. And I can recall there were times, Jason, where I would see Midwin on TV and she would make this original, just incredible analysis. Then I would see like 30 people make the same point that Midwin started
Right.
with.
Yeah.
And it was just so incredible. And just your thoughts on the passing of Midwin Charles.
So I have I have an obit that's coming out later on today from the Grio. And it was really hard to write. But I want the audience to hear this, and thank you, Clay, for that sort of introduction to Midwin. I don't, if the audience does not understand this, I hope they will get it after we've talked. There is no one in this game that doesn't have nice things to say about Midwin. Nobody.
Right.
Not a cameraman, not a producer, not a host. All of us liked her. She was a real one. And not just on camera, and not just sort of on the runway galas, but she was a real one through and through. And I think occasionally when someone who the public knows passes, they're looking for bits and pieces of who this person was, or the hows, or the whens, or the wheres, or the whys. And I can tell them, think of that person that you know, your friend from work or school or a neighbor, whatever, who's just good. They're just good. They always got a smile on their face. They're cool and they're funny and they're witty. And of course you think your neighbor is always going to be there. Of course you think your friend from grad school is always going to be there when you're in Chicago and you get to visit them. That's how this feels for me. The last time I talked to Midwin was probably about 2 weeks ago. And we were doing that thing that everybody does during the pandemic, which is making plans to make plans for when we were going to connect.
Exactly.
I didn't know there was anything wrong with her. She seemed like usual. We were talking like usual. And I just want everybody to understand I cannot stress this enough. You want to give people their flowers when they're here. I don't have any guilt or shame because I was always telling Midwin she was fly. I don't have that guilt of like I didn't say or whatever it is. But I have that sadness because she's gone. And I'll never get to talk with her again. I never get to see her on the air again. I'll never get to do an IG live with her again. And if anyone here has ever or is recently going through a loss, I want you to understand that not only do I empathize with you, but the thing that you want to do with those feelings and I'll share this also real quick with the audience. Clay is who told me. Clay calls me yesterday, and he calls, and I was literally about to start class, teach my students at Morgan State, my media criticism class at 3 p.m. And then right after he calls, I didn't pick up because I was literally bringing up the Zoom to start class. And he texts me, he's like, yo, Jay, call me back when you can. It's urgent. So I'm literally calling him right as class is starting. And he tells me that Midwin passed. And we chatted for a second, we got off, and all I could say to my class was like, I just found out I lost a friend and colleague. Call your parents, call your friends, text your friends, tell them that you love them. Class is canceled. And whether you knew Midwin or whether you're a fan of her work or whether you're only tangentially aware of her, if you take anything from this loss, go freaking hug somebody that you care about. Go talk to that person who's in your outer orbit, who you just always liked, but only talk to every month or so. Because you don't realize how important those people are until they're gone.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We just had Midwin on the show March 4th. I would do her Instagram live often. It was always a good time. Uh, one of the things I want to shout her out, like I was talking about, just how brilliant she was on television. I'll never forget when the narrative was out there that all these black men were voting for the president before the one we have right now. And she was the first person who I heard say, let's be clear. And there was all this kind of like shame and all these black men, dumb black men, voting for the other guys. She said, let's be clear. Black men voted for Biden and Harris more than any other male demographic.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we focus on that? And she was the first person I heard say that. There was analysis and studies and polls. Black men are failing. They're not support. They're upholding this. And she was the first person I heard this say more than any other male demographic. Black men are supporting the right candidate. I remember talking to her when the whole narrative was coming out of who is really black if your parents are from the Caribbean. And just her understanding, always uplifting black people as global people. She really was a internationalist.
Yeah.
And understood that. And it's just such a loss. It's sad. And I want to be clear, I don't know how she passed away. I don't know what happened. And it's just
can
a
I say something
massive
about
loss
that,
for
Clay?
media.
I
Please.
want to say something about that because this is a key thing. I've seen, and I'm not going to mention their names because I'm not going to give them any shine.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen people online speculating about how Midwin passed. And I just want to say this. Number one, what difference does it make?
That's right.
We're talking about a human being. So what difference does it make how she passed? Show us just a modicum of humanity for those who knew her and cared about her and considered her to be a friend who are mourning. The second thing is, I think it's very important that we understand, and I'm going to go there because this is what was posted. Somebody posted references to the fact that Midwin had gotten vaccinated and tried to associate that with her passing. Nobody knows that. Don't repeat that. If you hear anything about, I've had people text me asking me if those things are true. And I'm like, stop. We're in mourning. Allow ourselves to be in mourning. Ain't nobody out there playing House MD. And when her family cares to share that kind of information, then we'll talk about it. But for now, let's respect a human being. And I think it's important that we also look at somebody like Midwin in the context of this sort of generation of people who are doing this kind of work. One of the most impressive things about Midwin publicly, as I can tell you, privately, we would talk, we would chat. She tried to set me up with one of her friends. Like, I consider Midwin
She
a
did the
friend.
same thing with me. She
Yeah,
did the
yeah.
same thing with me, tried to set me up with somebody.
Yeah. So, she was that one. Like, she was
Yeah.
like, she's good people.
She wanted you to
And
be in love. She wanted you to find love. Oh my, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just like, I think people need to understand also that, like, she was still a practicing lawyer.
Yes.
Like, she was still a practicing lawyer. A lot of people who chitter chat on TV and do legal analysis haven't been in a courtroom in years. They don't really know what it's about. And she did. Like, she was still practicing. She was still talking. She was still enthusiastic. And she was just a really, 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 really good and wonderful person. And I talk about this in this piece that'll come out later on today. So I met Midwin 5 years ago. I literally have pictures and video of when we met. We met on Roland Martin's show. It was the day he had Iyanla Vanzant. And it's just, I also want to say this. Yesterday I started my morning. Clay, you know who Tabitha Brown is, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, Tabitha Brown, vegan, Southern Black lady. I love Tabitha. And so I get up yesterday morning, and she had an Instagram post yesterday. It was like one of her 55-second ones. And she was like, hello there. You know how she always starts. And she's like, this is on my heart. And her message was, it's not too late. And she says, it's not too late to find love. It's not too late to start a new job. It's not too late to leave your home. She has a whole list of things it's not too late to do. And I saw that in the morning, and I thought it was so beautiful. And I texted to a couple people, right? And the irony is, 6 hours later, I get a call from you that a friend passed, and it is too late. And I want people to really recognize that the greatest way to honor and appreciate someone who leaves too soon is to honor and appreciate the people who you still have.
That's right.
Because we never think it's going to be too late. And then sometimes it is.
Well, for the rest of this show, we're going to honor Midwin Charles. We're going to play some of her great moments on the show. You've been a part of those conversations with her. It's a great loss, 47 years old. And I just say that I really appreciate what you're saying. You're right. And Midwin loved family. She talked about her mother often.
Mm-hmm.
She valued family. And no matter how your family manifests, whether it's friends, who are like family. I think what you said is really powerful, Dr. Jason Johnson. Thank you for coming on. I know it's a rough day, and I look forward to seeing your tribute to Midwin Charles and the Griot.
Thanks, man. And we'll chat later. Love y'all.
Yeah, definitely. Love you too. Have a good day, man. Loss is it's complicated. Laree Daniel Favors did a great show today about loss from a cultural perspective. And it's very complicated. And I'm just in shock. I'm just in shock. But I am so happy that I was able to spend time with her and soak up her knowledge and her energy and her laugh. Her laugh was so incredible. So I just feel very grateful that I was able to experience her. And we have to value folks while they are here. And I hope Midwin knew how loved she was. She was loved. And Jason pointed out a really great point. I know a lot of folks in media, and that is one person that all you heard was love about Midwin Charles. What a powerful, powerful person. I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss her. Rest in peace.